Oh yes, we're live.
We're live? Awesome.
Hi, Brutus, you're crying on live television.
Great.
Hi everyone, I am Kritika. I am a writer and a pet parent to this fidgety boy who just is bothered about his treat, which I think I'm going to give it to him now. And with me, I have Rohit. Hi, Rohit.
Hi, Kritika.
So Rohit is a pet photographer who actually left his 10-year-long corporate job to kind of follow his passion. And yeah, I think I'm going to give it to him now, and he's going to talk a bit more about himself.
Great. So, first of all, Kritika, thanks a lot for having me over. And I'm super excited to be a part of this session and kind of talk about pet photography, which is something which I really love, right?
Right.
So, just to give you an introduction about myself, yes, I've been doing photography for the last 7 years or so, right? And have been doing pet photography professionally for the last 2 years, right? It's a it's a very uh, unexplored space in India yet, right? There are so many pet parents out there, right, with
Yes.
adorable pets, and uh, you look at any pet parent's phone, it's filled with their pets' pictures, right?
Yes.
So I think so it's very so everybody wants to capture pictures of the pets, the moments,
Yes.
right? And think I think it's a good space to be in, and I just love clicking pictures of the dogs, spending time with them. So I think
Yes.
that's how it just happened.
Right. And I think when you say like every pet parent wants like to keep clicking adorable pictures of their parents or their pets, I think you're very right. Even my phone's wallpaper is of my dog. I think it's reflecting the screen. But yeah, like if you can see, yeah. So yeah, and to
Mine,
get this
mine
picture
too.
clicked, I think. Oh yeah, really? Oh yeah. See, so yeah, like I tried to click like a very like weird angle with this
Oh, so
picture
cute.
where I had to that this like required a lot of energy and multiple takes. I think we're gonna get onto that once we start talking about, how to click like better pictures. And I think you'd be a better person to be addressing that. So Rohit, like I just want to understand photography in general is something that has to be taught from my experience. So I've done journalism and bachelor in journalism and mass communication, and I had a proper subject of photography initially, and they taught me a lot of things which were very technical, which is why I sort of kind of didn't interest me to take pictures, even though I like particular angles. I had this, isse mote lagte hain, isse patle lagte hain, you look taller, fatter, whatever, in certain angles, and all of that. Those like very layman sort of technicalities I know about photography. But do you think did you have to like kind of study photography to kind of take this up as a profession? Really,
Uh,
or like was it like natural to you?
Not really. So photography started. I started doing photography just casually, like 7 years
Right.
back. We just started. We used to take road trips around Bangalore, and I just started taking my camera along and started clicking. So it was actually travel photography which I started with,
Right.
right?
Sorry. Yeah.
And and slowly and slowly, what happens is more than the technicality of the photography as such, you need to spend more time with the camera, right?
Right.
Uh, the more and more time you spend with the camera, right, you start getting a hang of things, right? It's exactly similar to riding a bicycle or swimming, for example,
Right.
right? The
Experience
more and more,
basically.
the more and more you do it, the easier it
Right.
gets for you, right? And you find it more fun to do, right? And
Right. Right.
similar, and now when I click pictures of pets or dogs, people like look at those pictures in like so much of amazement that how did I click that picture, right?
Right.
But now since there have been since I've been clicking pets pictures for so many years now, it kind of comes intuitively to me,
Right. I'm
right?
sure.
So what I've done is for today's session, right? So we're going to
Right.
discuss pet photography today, right? And
Right.
pet photography, like any genres of photography, is a very vast subject, right? You
Right.
can't cover everything in one session, right?
Of
Not
course. Yeah.
possible, right? So, but what I've done is I've kind of put together a small presentation, okay, and I've kind of
Right.
highlighted the top tips which I mostly use in my pictures, right?
Okay.
And which will actually help the pet parents to click better picture of their pets at home. Now it can be with the camera, it can be with the phone, it can be with anything,
Right.
right?
And that was
So
actually going to be my next question. Well, what do I do if I don't have a DSLR, but I still want to get a picture of my dog's frames, So I think these tips will come in handy
definitely.
in this
So
situation.
yes. So I've created the presentation in such a way where it's not technical. And
Right.
see, at the end of the day, I'll tell you. At the end of the day, Kritika, it's all about actually being able to capture the right emotion or the expression.
Right.
Okay, it's all about
Right.
that, right? So, for example, if you are having a very emotional moment with Brutus, for example, right?
Right.
You would want to capture that. You would not care a lot in terms of what's coming in the background, right? You just want to
Correct.
make sure
Correct.
that the moment is captured properly, right?
Right.
And that's what my tips focus on today.
Right. And sometimes what happens is because pets are so fidgety most of the time, it is very difficult to kind of get like a still picture of them. So, that is when it is really hard. It is very hard to make sure that one moment that I find where I have to make it say, oh, Brutus, look. And that 1 second, I just have that 1 second to take that picture. Otherwise, it's a blurry image of him doing this or something very crazy.
Right. So,
Yes.
what do you suggest? Should we start?
We should start, and we also should let everyone know that you'd actually be showcasing like the best 3 pictures that you picked from the lot from that contest we had, and you'd be showcasing, but towards the end of the session. So I
Yeah.
think we just start with the session. Should
Awesome.
we start? Okay.
Yeah. So let me just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, today we are going to talk about the topic is very simple. We're just going to talk about tips to click better pictures with your pets, right?
Right.
And as I was saying earlier, these are the tips which I have kind of learned over the years, right?
Right.
These are not exhaustive. These are not mutually
Right.
exclusive. So
Right.
I sometimes I use one tip in a picture, sometimes I use multiple tips in a picture, right?
Right.
But I'm sure at the end of the session, I hope this helps, right?
Right.
So I'll just start. Okay, so this is a no-brainer. Okay, as Kritika was, as you were saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
This is like what do you say? This is like a guru mantra, right?
Right.
So then it's like you have to be quick, right? Because your pet is super quick, right? So usually
Right.
what I've
Right.
seen is pet parents, what they do is if their pet is doing something very cute in the house, for example, right? What
Right.
will happen is that moment exists for like what 2-3 seconds, 5 seconds
Yeah.
max, right? Now what the pet parents will do, they will first find their phone, then they will take out the phone, then they will unlock it, then they will switch on the camera, then they will figure out the right setting. By that time, the dog is doing something else,
That's true. And then you
right?
get all those blurry pictures.
Exactly, right? So pet photography, the first and the most basic rule of pet photography is that you have to be very, very quick, right? So you, if you want to capture a very specific moment of your pet, you should
Right.
be ready with all these things. Get your
Yes.
pet at the center, right?
Right.
And get him do that thing, and then just click,
Right.
right? So I mean,
Right.
and I'm telling you, follow this tip, and your pictures will not come out blurry.
I hope, because like I have a series of pictures in which 20 of them are blurry and maybe one tiny picture might just come out nice. So maybe, yeah.
So usually what it happens, right? So for example, your camera might have a short, your phone might have a shortcut, right?
Right.
In which you can just go to the camera app directly,
Right.
right? Keep it handy, for
Correct.
example, right? Keep those
Right.
settings
Right.
saved in your camera, for example, right?
Yeah.
Maybe decorate a corner in the house, for example, which has proper light and all, right? And then
Right.
get the dog do something very, very cute, and you'll get the picture,
Right. And this
right?
is like literally a no-brainer, like you said. I think it's in that spur of that moment where you realize that abhi to achhi photo chahiye. And that's like literally about it.
True, true. So this is one tip which I like use in every picture of mine, right?
Yeah.
I have to be super super quick. Okay,
Right.
and okay, so I'll move on. This is the second one. And by the way, all the pictures that you see on the slides, Kritika, these are all
Yes.
clicked by me either by phone or by DSLR.
Right.
So
So
this is
this
the
one
picture.
that we see on the screen currently is clicked by phone or DSLR.
It's clicked by phone.
But you can't tell because that's why I'm asking you. I thought like it's a perfect DSLR shot.
Yeah, it's clicked by phone. It's clicked by I clicked it
Right.
my phone, right? So this is another super important tip. Be patient because your pet won't be, right? Okay.
Yes.
So this is what I generally do, and this is something, and everybody can have their own way of clicking the picture of their pets. But what I usually do is
Right.
dogs span of attention is very small, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of go near the dog, okay, and as soon as you go near the dog with your camera, the dog will look at you,
Right.
right? Because something has changed for the dog around him, right?
Right.
Uh, but you just stay there, right? After 3 or 4 seconds, the dog will get bored
Right.
by looking at you because you're not doing anything, right? You're just sitting there.
Right.
Okay, so he
Right.
lose interest in you, and then he will go back to doing what he was doing.
Yes. There's
That's the moment when you click the
Exhibit
picture.
A.
Right.
So this is
So
like the
that's the
perfect
moment,
time probably to click a picture.
yes. So that's the
Right.
moment when you kind of click the picture, and you will get that perfect sharp picture. So this picture that you see here, right? I have
Yes.
exactly clicked using this step. She
Okay.
was sitting. She was sitting in front of me,
Right.
right? She was sitting in front of
Right.
me, uh, and like she looked at me. I just held my camera phone like in front of her, and after
Yeah.
4 seconds, she just looked away, and I just clicked the picture.
Right. So patience is the key.
Yes, patience is the key.
Yes.
Just a second, Kritika. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. No worries.
I have to change the slide. Wait. Can you see the slide? You can see the slide, right?
Yes, I can. I can.
Yeah, got it. The slide is not changing. I'm changing it from here, but it's not changing.
Right. I think people are also commenting, saying that they can't see the slide. So maybe we want to just restart it one more time, maybe?
Can you change? Can you see the slide now?
I can, but I'm not sure if people can see it though. Um, we can just,
Okay, should we
no,
restart?
people are still commenting. Yeah, I think we can just restart it the whole
Okay,
thing.
wait.
Yeah. Should we do it again?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, we got a comment saying now it's changed, but I think we went back. It's okay. We'll just add it again.
yeah,
That's okay. Maybe we'll just like quickly go through the two slides that you took us through one more time, and then just kind of tell people in case anyone's missed
yeah.
anything.
So,
Yeah.
are people able to see the
Uh,
screen now?
I am guessing yes, it's changed. I mean, that's what people are saying. It's showing now. Yeah, yeah. People are commenting saying it's showing now.
Perfect. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it should be visible now.
Perfect. Great. So this is the first. These are the first. These are the two tips that I shared. Be quick and
Right.
be patient.
Yes.
Be quick
Right.
in terms of setting up the picture. You'll get
Right.
that perfect picture with your pet. And be
Right.
patient. Just stay there and let your dog lose interest in you and look somewhere else, and then you click the picture.
Right. Oh, people are still commenting saying no slides. That is very
Really?
strange.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe we're seeing slides. Oh, now they see it. Now they see it. Sorry, false alarm.
Anyway,
So,
see, it's
yes,
getting
what do you want?
recorded, so they can always come back and look at it.
View it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'll move on.
Yeah. So I think the slides that you've shown me, you just quickly take them through. Like, be patient and sort of yeah. I think. I'm sorry. I was just looking at the comments to see whether people can see it or not. It is showing. So yes, I think we can move on now. What do you
Perfect.
want?
Perfect. Okay. So now this is like perspective, and
Right.
so I want to talk a bit about it. And
Right.
this is something which I use in my pictures 90% of the time.
Right.
Okay. And what this means is that when you're clicking a picture of your pet, right? Click the picture of your pet as they see the world and not as you
Right.
see it,
Yes. Right.
right? So many a times what happens is I've seen a lot of pictures in pet parents' phones, right, where the dog is just looking up,
Right.
right? It's a very weird
Right.
expression. The dog has
Right.
a confused expression, and
Right.
when the dog looks up, his eyes become smaller, nose looks longer, right? The face
Right.
doesn't look nice,
Right.
right? So what you have to do is you have to kind of click their picture by getting down to their level,
Correct.
right? So if you see the
Right.
picture here, right, I've
Yes.
taken this picture the way the dog would see things around him, right?
Right.
The
And is
butterfly,
it? It's from a distance, I'm assuming.
yes, it's from a distance. So
Right.
so here I use the tip of the again I use a tip of patience here, right?
Right.
Where I just sat there, the dog looked at me and then lost interest and then looked somewhere else and I clicked the picture.
Right.
Yeah, Brutus is like,
No, he constantly wants me to keep pulling the things that he has just to keep him interested. So this is another patience wala key where I have to just keep, see if I keep nudging him all the time, he'd be quiet. So now he'd come back to me and then he'd want me to nudge him again and then he'd go back and he did stuff. So this is going to go on till the live session. So yeah.
that's not a problem at all. So,
Yeah.
Kritika, do we have any questions from the viewers on any of these points that we have covered till now?
Yes, one of not over these. I think so far people have only had concerns about the slides not showing. So maybe we wait like a couple of more slides to
Hmm.
kind of have more questions. So I think we can just go ahead and then I can probably copy in between if there is like an important question that
Makes
we'd want
sense.
to address.
Makes sense. So, as I was talking about this point, is that click the picture from their world, right? So,
Right.
take the pictures the way they see the world, right? So,
Okay.
so this is one. This is a very very important tip. I use it a lot in my pictures.
Right.
If you go to my website or go to my Instagram handle, you will find
Yeah.
90% of the pictures like this, right? I love
Right.
and it comes with a lot of effort because I have to kind of lie down on the ground, right, and do
Right.
all those sorts of things. But
Yeah.
in the end, we get such a good memorable picture of the dog chasing the butterfly,
Right. Right. Right.
right? I'll move
It
on.
looks a very unreal picture though. The previous one, where he's just looking at a butterfly and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one thing which I use also quite often,
Right.
where you kind of instead of using new props with the dogs during the pictures, you use
Right.
the things that they are usually fond of,
Right.
right? So like
Right.
this picture, if you see here, this his name was Scotch, right? And
Okay.
he just loved this towel, right?
Okay.
He everywhere he like I did his photo shoot a couple of days
Yeah.
back, and he just
Right.
kept moving around the house with this towel. He didn't let it go,
And he didn't let anyone have it either.
and he didn't let anyone have it either, right? He was like,
Right.
just leave me with my towel. I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Right.
Right, and that's why I thought that like this is a very good moment that I should capture with where he's like kind of lying down relaxing, and
Right.
there's his towel also in the picture, right? So
Right. Right.
again the same thing, if you see I have used the tip which I shared before, where
Right.
get down to their eye level, right,
Right. Right.
and then use a thing in the picture which they are fond of,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yeah.
It kind of weaves in a story.
Right. And it could also be with them. Like, I mean, the pictures can actually come out really cute if they are like probably a favorite toy or a towel, like you said. So they can just hold it and the picture can still come out nice. And
Yeah,
I
it can.
believe also it's just because dogs usually sort of stand still with things they love. Is like that's the logic behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what happens is it gives you it for even for like 5 or 10 seconds, the
Right.
dog stops moving, right?
Right.
And that is
Right.
what gives you the moment to kind of click that picture, right? And it
Right.
kind of tells
Right.
you, it
Right.
kind of lets you tell a story also that
Right.
this is his favorite towel, or this is his favorite bandana, or this is his favorite squeaky toy, whatever,
Right. Right. Right.
right? I'll move on.
Right.
Okay, so this is a tip for the pet parents.
Right. To be
Okay,
lazy. Like
don't be late.
probably a life tip.
Yeah, so this is something which I've seen. Like, so I've seen pet parents doing. Like, they if the dog is
Right.
doing something cute, the pet parent won't move. Right?
Right.
They will just take the
Right.
phone, and wherever the dog is, they'll just do like this. Okay,
Correct.
you will
Correct.
not get a good picture like that. Okay,
Right.
you're
Right.
just trying to
Yeah.
document
I
the
mean, just
moment.
like probably. Yeah. Just lay like and assume that the dog is listening to you.
Exactly, right? So don't be lazy. Get up.
Right.
Uh, if you really want to capture a good picture, you need to get up, get down, bend down, jump, whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
Like for
Right.
example, this picture, if you see, it's a Shih Tzu, right? And Shih
Yes.
Tzus are, and if you try and capture Shih Tzus from the top, right? Since
Right.
they have
Right.
so many hair around their eyes, it's very difficult to capture them,
Correct.
right? So what I did was I kind of made him sit on a kind of a stool, right?
Right.
And then click the picture niche se.
And so now, like, he looks like a lion.
Now he looks like a lion.
Yeah. See, guys, Vinay, sorry, but there's Vinay who really wants to know whether the butterfly in the previous picture was real or not.
No, no, that was
Like I
not
said,
real.
it seemed that was not real. Okay.
That was not real. I had,
That is an
I
editing tip which we're going to come to after
yeah,
this.
that's
Right.
an editing tip which we will kind of speak
See, like
about
to
in
those.
some few more minutes,
Right. Perfect.
right? Cool.
So, yes.
Okay, so I'll move forward. Okay, so that was perspective, right? That you kind of need to weave a story around it and make the
Right.
picture more engaging, right? And
Right.
make and
Yes.
actually capture a moment rather than just taking a picture, right?
Correct.
Now
Yeah.
we need to catch their attention, right? Those
Yes.
pictures look really beautiful, where you have the dog actually looking at you, right? And making
Correct.
those funny
Yeah. Yeah.
faces, be it a
Right.
curious face, be it an angry face, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But
Or
so
even in the
how do you,
head tilt.
yeah, or like tilting your head or
Yeah.
like something. So
Right.
how do you kind of get those? How do you catch their attention?
Right.
Again, you have to be very very quick. The moment you catch their attention, you have to click. Okay, but how do you
Right.
catch their
Right.
attention? Right. So you need to make sounds. As a pet photographer, okay, you won't
Yes.
believe I actually practice these sounds at home. Okay,
Like stand in
so
front of the mirror and that's your
so I keep making these I make these sounds, and you can whistle, you can make some weird sound, right?
right.
Or for example, there are a lot of videos that are there on YouTube, right?
Okay.
Which one can download, and
Right.
which actually draws the dog's attention.
Right. I do have a video like that on Bluetooth's page where I've just played it on the TV, and there was a doorbell sound where he just run to the door to see who's there, but there was nobody who was just trying to get his attention. So there are a
Exactly.
lot of videos like that on YouTube.
Exactly. So make
Right.
those sounds, but again, you when you make that sound, the dog's gonna look at you, but just for two
Right.
seconds,
Right.
right? So that's your moment to be able to capture that beautiful picture. So I actually use that tip here to click this picture. So what
Right.
I did was I'll tell you the BTS of this picture. What I did was
Okay.
uh, I so here in this picture I took a treat. Okay,
Okay.
I took three, four treats. Okay, gave one to him, and then
Right.
threw the rest into the grass.
Okay.
Okay, he started searching for it.
Right.
Okay, I left him there for like 10 seconds. I went back,
Right.
framed my shot, sat there with my
Right.
camera, and then
Right.
made that crazy sound.
And then he just looked up.
And he just looked at me,
Right. Nice.
and I got this picture.
And
So
this is
very
like a DSLR shot or a camera?
this is a camera shot.
Okay.
This is a camera picture,
Okay. Nice.
right?
There is another question. Should we address it now, or do you want to save it for the end, or should we just address them side by
We
side?
can we can we can we can take it now itself.
Okay. So Shivani has a question. She says, in general, dogs are usually high on energy. How do you get such pictures when your pet is moving or running?
So there are a couple of ways to do that, right? I usually
Right.
prefer clicking dogs in the natural behavior. Okay,
Okay.
if he's energetic, if he's jumpy, and I would like to capture him like that, right?
Right.
But it's tricky at times. Okay, so usually
Right.
what to click these kind of pictures, what I usually do is first 15-20 minutes you kind of make him run around, right? Exercise him a bit so that he kind of slows down a bit.
Tires down. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
he tires down a bit, and the moment he tires
Yeah.
down a bit, that's when you will start getting these kind of pictures.
Right. Got
Right?
it. Okay.
Cool. We'll
Hope
move
that
forward.
answers your question, Shivani. There's another question though. Should we address it or should we go ahead with the slide? Should we
We
address
can
the
take it
question?
now. We can take it now.
Cool. So Udit Vyas says, is it better to use more of portrait mode on the phone or normal model to get clarity of the image of the dog?
Okay, so portrait mode definitely gives you a better looking picture, right?
Right,
But if the camera does not focus where you want the camera to focus, right, then the
right.
picture will be worse than what it should be,
Okay,
right? The picture won't come out
right,
nice because then the camera has actually focused on something else which you didn't want the
right,
camera to focus on and has blurred out everything else, right?
right.
So
Okay,
I usually use the portrait mode on the dogs where the dog is tired, he's sitting, he's engaged in something else,
right. Okay,
right? Where the chances of him moving is very less,
okay.
right?
All right,
If, for example, there is a chance where the dog may move, then what I do is I kind of click his normal picture, right,
right.
without the portrait mode, and then there
Yeah,
are a lot of apps which are there where you can actually blur out the backgrounds and make it look like a portrait.
yeah. Okay. And that I think you'd be talking about in
So
the
I'll talk
next
about
segment.
that when I'll talk about that
Right,
when we go to the editing tip.
right. There's Vinay who wants to ask you a question. So he says, sir, can you explain about the lenses you use, the usual focal length that you use, basically? He wants to know.
So okay, I'll answer that question. So when
Right,
basically I usually I'm a fan of prime lenses, right?
right,
Because that is what I've been using for years now. So
right.
most of the time I use a 85 lens, and at times when I'm doing outdoor shoots, I also use a 70 200 lens.
Okay.
It's quite technical,
Okay.
but
Vinay, I hope, yeah, I just suddenly lost you at MMs, but I'm sure Vinay understood. And Vinay, I hope that answers your question. Neha Raval wants to know what is the ideal length for taking multiple puppies in action pictures?
oh, that's tricky. Multiple puppies in action. So Neha wants to shoot it with the camera or with the phone?
I'm
Is that
assuming ideal lens, so I'm assuming it's the camera.
a lens? So,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, lens. So, puppies and action. So, puppies and action. So, first tip is that you kind of shoot them from a little far. Okay.
yeah,
Usually people who like to photograph and what they do is that you generally want to get things right in the camera itself, right?
right,
Which is one way of working, which is fine, right? But what I usually do is I kind of get my picture correct, close to what 70% right in the camera. Okay,
right,
and then
right,
so why I brought this point was you should use a wide angle lens, right, to click multiple puppies who are in action, right,
right,
uh, so that you can capture them all together. Okay, and then create a bigger frame, and then when you're actually editing the picture, you kind of crop it and make it smaller, right? So that you're
Very
like when
technical.
very technical,
Yeah.
right? There's another way. There's another way where you actually, which people also do, is they click
Right.
puppies one by one, right? And then you kind of post process the picture and put them all
Put it
together.
together. Right. Again. Wow. So Neha also mentioned Canon. So yeah, it's the lens. So I think we answered her question right.
Go for a
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was saying go for a wide angle lens or
Okay.
go for a wide angle lens. That should help when it comes to
Right.
clicking puppies in action. But when you want to click puppies in action, it is more about the camera, less about the lens. Your camera should have a high burst mode, right? It should be able to
Right.
click more pictures in a single second. So yeah.
Right. Madhu Singh wants to know, can you share some good hacks to take nice pictures from mobile camera?
Yeah. So just stay with us.
Yeah,
We are
he's going to answer those questions. Yeah,
Yeah, we are going to answer those questions as we move forward. Right?
great.
Let's
Okay, so we
shall we
can go
move
to the
forward?
next slide now. Yes, yes.
Okay. So as I was saying, there are various ways to catch attention of dogs. One is to make sounds,
Making
right?
sounds, yeah.
Second is like again a no-brainer. Reward them, right?
For everything. For existing also, I think.
Right, so reward them, right? So like this picture I took it by using this tip where
Right.
I just showed the treat to the dog,
Yeah.
and then I just brought the treat a little closer to my phone. And by the way, this is a phone click.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's that on his
So
nose?
sorry.
What's that on his nose?
That's so that's a street dog.
Oh,
He was playing in cement, right?
oh wow.
So that's cement on his nose.
Okay.
Right. So I kind of took the treat closer to the camera, and he kept looking at the treat, and then I just
Right,
took the picture.
right. Nice.
Right.
And
So
then you
yeah,
had to reward him after. So,
yeah, and you reward him. You give that treat to him. Now he knows
yeah,
that this is what the reward is, and then you can
it's a
use
good
treats.
answer.
Yeah, you can use treats in multiple ways. Photography,
Right,
the first rule of photography, like if you have to use treats during clicking pictures of your pets, don't give them
right,
treats like without they
right,
doing something. So they should understand that they will get a treat only after they have done something,
right.
right?
And that's,
So
I think, like the basic rule of training, where
yes,
that's what's been like always taught, that you shouldn't give anything to your dog unless they do something good. So,
correct, correct.
including
Yeah.
photography, yeah.
So yes, yes, good.
Hmm.
So this is the simple tips about catching their attention.
Right.
Yeah, so catch them in the act. So this is my favorite topic. One of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
I love these kind of pictures.
Right.
I don't click pictures where you have to pose, where the human has to pose, right? Pets can't
Right.
pose. You can't instruct them to
Right.
pose, right?
Right.
But those kind of pictures where they are doing something, they're busy doing something, and you click them, right?
Right.
So first is use a wingman, right? So take somebody's help, right? Make that person engage the dog with him, right? And then
Right.
you take
Right.
the dog's picture. Okay, so this is
Right.
what how I click the picture here, where actually the pet parent was holding a banana in his hand, and he loved
Right.
bananas.
Oh.
This guy, right? So the pet parent was holding a banana in his hand, and
Right.
his name was Tuffy. So
Okay.
Tuffy was looking at him for the banana, and I just took this
Right.
picture.
Nice.
Right. So
He's dressed so well.
yeah, so very simple tip,
Such a well dressed dog, yeah.
huh?
Such a well dressed dog.
Yeah, ready for a date.
Yeah. Wow. Do you
Yeah,
do that actually? Hook two dogs up together because you know so many of them?
so
That'll be a
I
good
have
idea though.
that can be a good idea. Yeah, I have come across many, but I have not done matchmaking yet.
You should. I think most people are looking for a matchmaker So you could be like the Seema Taparia of
Oh my God.
the doggy
Don't,
world.
don't go. Don't please.
Imagine we'll have a Netflix series on stills by Rohit featuring Indian
My
dog
God.
matchmaking.
I, I,
Wow, this
I,
has
I,
got another level.
that's a very dreadful dream.
But a very good idea though.
Idea is good,
Maybe
yes.
someone should take it up. Someone who's
Yeah,
looking
I'm
at us,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure now the idea is out there in the open. Somebody would be listening about
Yeah, you heard it first on Dogspot.
it. Cool. I'll move forward.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
this is what I was, yeah. So this is what I was talking about, right? Use a wingman, right? And
right,
an extension of this tip is kind of give them company. Okay.
correct. Okay,
So if the dog, for example, is moving a lot and if it's getting distracted a lot, right? So you kind of
right,
walk into the frame,
right,
okay, and then engage with the dog. So now if you see the lady here in the photo has the banana in her hand,
right,
right? And it's a beautiful picture. It's a nice
right,
picture. It's a cozy picture,
right. A
right?
very cute, very loving moments between the two. So
Yes, very loving moment for both of them. So
yeah,
very candid photo, and so this is one thing. So one more tip which I want to give here is, which is not a part of the presentation, that if you're
right,
clicking a picture of your pet either with your camera or with your phone, switch off the
right.
sound of the camera or the phone. There's a
Okay,
sound that your
right,
camera or phone makes,
right. It
right?
distracts
If you
someone.
click the
Yeah.
picture, right? It's a very normal sound for you, but the dog
Right,
gets distracted by it.
right.
The dog picks
Huh.
it, right? And if you're trying to frame a candid picture, right, the dog's expression will change the moment you click that button,
Right,
right? So I
right, right,
always switch off the shutter sound in my camera, so the pet parents, the dogs, they don't even know when I'm clicking the picture,
right. So
right?
yeah,
So that,
distract them less could be another
yeah,
point.
right.
Right.
So yeah, so this is about like catching them in the act and taking as candid as possible pictures,
Right,
right?
right.
And so these are some basics I thought I should add into the presentation,
Yep,
where
yep.
these are very basic things, and it has nothing to do with pet photography, but
Right.
in photography in general, right?
Yeah, also what is interesting about these tips is that they're all correlated to each other. You know, like
Yes,
how you need to make a sound and use the treat or do both of them together. So I think all of this is something every pet parent, I'm sure, knows at the back of their head, but
they
we've
do.
never really put it into practice because nobody thinks of these things, right? You just want one moment. So you're not
True.
thinking about how to get that moment. So you just like, I think like these, it'll be like a very nice, gentle reminder for all the pet parents to click like a good picture.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So exactly as you rightly said, Kritika, right?
yeah.
These are no trade secrets, right? There is no
Right,
secret
right,
sauce to it, right?
right.
Everybody knows these things. It's just that we just
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
execute these, and then we just have to
correct.
kind of use these while clicking the pictures,
And
right?
probably like follow like a certain step, like how you put
Yeah,
it like stepwise, very beautifully in your slide. Maybe like kind of follow the way to clicking a picture.
true, true. So so
Right,
this tip that I've put here, play with light, right? It's a
right,
very basic tip. Like I've seen a lot of pet parents, they click pictures in the tube light, right? Where there's a tube light, it's a
right,
dark lit room, right? The
right,
picture won't come out nice. Okay,
right,
light is very very important when you are trying to create a good picture, right?
right, right,
So maybe take the dog to the near the balcony where there is some sunlight coming, right?
right,
Or maybe take him
right,
out to the garden and click the picture there, right? Pictures
right,
will automatically get elevated if you have better light in the scenery,
right.
right?
And with
So
like a good background, maybe.
good background. See, backgrounds kind of can be taken care of
Right,
in post processing, right?
right,
More
right.
light is something which you can't take care of, right?
Correct, correct.
Either you have
Right.
light in the picture, you don't have light in the
Or you
picture.
don't
You
know.
can't artificially add it,
Right.
right? So figure out like go on the terrace where there's more light. One tip here, that try and avoid clicking your pet directly under sunlight.
Okay, and that'll be a problem because
That'll be a problem because what will happen is that the fur, the color of the dog will get blown out.
right,
The light will be
right.
so harsh, right? So
Got it. Yeah,
kind of click him in the shade, or maybe if you're clicking in the house, then like put a curtain and then make your dog sit there and then click the picture. Your pictures will
right,
come nice,
right,
right?
nice. Yeah,
For example, if uh, you're trying to click your dog in action, for example, right?
right,
And we always say that the picture has come out blurry, right?
right.
6 out of 10 cases, there is not enough light in the picture, and that is the reason why the picture comes out blurry,
Ah, okay.
right?
And exactly to that, there's a correlating question. So Mitali Chaudhary says, tip to click a running shot by phone camera. Exactly what you just mentioned right now. That if you want to take a running shot, maybe if there's like enough light, you might, have like a better version. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yes. So light is one of the
Right,
ingredients to get the picture right, and one of the most
right,
important elements to get the picture right. Uh,
right,
to click a picture of a running dog, right? You uh, to click the picture of a running dog, you also need to understand, is your phone or is your camera equipped to do that or not, right?
right,
Today what happens is we see a lot of pictures on Instagram, right?
right,
And we don't know how those pictures are clicked, right? What gears was used,
right,
what light was used. We don't
right,
know, right? It's to a certain extent, clicking a running dog is possible with a phone, provided that your camera has those settings, your phone has those settings,
right,
right? You should be able to alter the shutter speed of the phone, or maybe you should have the burst mode in your phone, for example. Burst mode is
right.
where the phone clicks like 10
Yeah,
pictures in one
right,
second,
right. And then
right?
probably pick like one good out of
Exactly.
it.
And then you pick one, and then that's it.
Right. Okay.
Right. So there's one. So this is a very important tip, and it applies to photography in general, right?
Right.
Make sure that there
Right.
is enough light in the scenery for you to be able
Right.
to kind of click the picture. Then
Right.
this is another thing: play with contrast, right? Why? So this picture again, I have taken it from phone. Yes, right. I've taken it from phone. It's again one of the street dogs of a very famous park in Bangalore, Kabul Park. Right.
Okay.
She's a very beautiful dog. So,
Yeah.
um, usually what happens is you should always kind of have a contrasting color in the pictures. For example, if your dog's fur color is brown, right?
Right.
You should have a color in the background which is contrasting to that, right? If
Right.
you click your dog with a beige color wall in the background, the picture won't come nice,
Right.
which we always do, right?
Right.
In the home.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. I'm just suddenly I went back to my wrong photography moments and I just realized, oh, the background was bad. I was okay.
Yes, it happens, right? Because now if you relate to the earlier tip that I gave, that don't be lazy,
Yes.
right?
Right. Get up and
And
go find a background.
exactly, get up and find a background, put some plants in the background, right?
Yeah.
Put some lights in the background, have a colorful curtain in the background, and you'll get that picture,
Right. Right.
right? So
So,
that's what play with contrast is. Okay, so as you were all talking about this tip, right?
yeah.
Somebody asked this
The most.
question, right?
Right.
Know your phone, right?
Right.
You should kind of be thorough with what your camera can do, what your phone
Right.
can do, and more importantly, what it can't do,
Correct.
right? You should know the both the strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of click those kind of pictures, right?
Right.
So
Right.
some cameras have those inbuilt functions, some cameras don't. So be aware of that, right? And
Right.
there are tons of videos on YouTube uh, which tells you the detailed working of your phone or camera,
Right.
right?
So Udit is asking a question. He's saying, is altering the shutter mode and the phone in the phone, I'm assuming, and burst mode the same or different? So I think
It's
he
different.
wants to know whether the shutter speed or the burst mode is the same thing.
It's different. So what they
Okay.
do is the same, right?
Right.
What they do is
Right.
the same, but the way
Yeah.
of doing it is different. In the burst mode, the
Right.
camera is deciding the shutter speed. In
Right.
the shutter mode, you are actually deciding the shutter speed.
Right.
So it's manual
Okay.
versus automatic.
Okay. And but like does the same thing, right?
It does the same thing, more or less.
Okay. 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 Cool. We can move on to the next slide.
Right. Yeah. So like this is like the dark horse. Let me put it that way. People people just click, but they don't edit their
Yeah.
pictures. It is important,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because it kind of enhances the picture, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and we're gonna see in some time, right, where the entries that we got for the contest, I shortlisted
The
three
differences.
pictures. Yeah, and I
Right.
edited those three pictures, and all those three pictures I edited with the phone, with Snapseed
Oh,
app.
okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And
But
you're going to list down all these apps, right? Like towards the
yeah,
end of it.
right.
Yeah.
So editing is very important, right? And
Right.
for example, and if you want to for phone, because since a lot of pet parents click pictures from their phone itself, right?
Right. Right.
They should look at using apps like Snapseed, for example,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Snapseed is a very good app, or VSCO is a very good app again.
VSCO. Okay.
VSCO, right?
Yeah.
Snapseed is an
Yeah.
app which gives you a lot of manual controls.
Yeah.
It lets you change a lot of things manually on the in the picture. Uh, VSCO is more around filters. It lets you play around with filters,
Right.
right? But these are two good, very good apps I would recommend. Uh,
Okay.
Tons of videos again available on YouTube, learning how to
And
edit.
how? Right.
I also kind of conduct online sessions on how to edit pictures and all. So if somebody is
Right.
interested, they can kind of get in touch with me,
Okay. Great. We'll
right?
give your details towards the end of the
Right. So editing is
session.
important, right? So so that's the point. So I think uh,
Yeah.
so so I think so. This is, by the way, the last
Last
slide.
slide. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
right. And um, I'm like, yeah, that was a short and
Check
hope.
out a few. Yeah. I think. Okay. People still have questions. Can we address those? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Shivani wants to know whether the apps that you mentioned are paid or free. And that'll be, I'll add the questions here in case like there are the paid versions of what you said. Are there any free apps that we can use to kind of edit the pictures? Is there anything
Yes.
that you suggest?
So Snapseed is a free app.
Right.
Okay. And
Right.
Snapseed is a app developed by Google.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, not many people know that. It's a very
Yeah,
good
I had
app.
no idea.
It's a very good app. It looks intimidating to start with, right?
Right.
Because you can change things manually in the picture a lot.
Right.
You can remove the ball from the frame, right? You can
Oh,
remove a wire from the frame, wire from the
right.
picture. You can correct things. You can it lets you do selective editing.
Okay.
Okay,
And
if
this
you
is
want to
the
like
free version that you're talking about,
this is
right?
the free version. It's free. It's available on Play Store. It's a very good app. I use it a lot, specifically to edit the pictures that I click from my phone. So
Right.
all the pictures that I had put in the presentation, which I had clicked
Right.
from phone, I had edited all of them on Snapseed.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
So, for example, if you
Um,
go back to this one,
right. This is also Snapseed.
Snapseed.
Okay.
This is also Snapseed.
Okay. Right. And
Right.
have you like, could you go on the previous one? Have you blurred out the background in the one, the first, this one? Did you have to do it or was it clicked like this?
So in this one, I think I clicked it in the portrait mode, right? So
Okay.
the
Right.
background was blurry, but then
Right.
in while editing the picture, I enhanced it.
Ah, okay. Got it. Okay. Udit wants to know whether Adobe Lightroom is good. I'm assuming that's an app.
Yes. So Adobe Lightroom again is a software to edit pictures, right? More to
Okay.
catalog the pictures and edit the pictures. right?
Right.
You can use it. It's again the next level of editing. I use
Right.
both Lightroom and Photoshop to edit my pictures, but those are mostly
Okay.
to edit the camera click pictures. You
Yeah.
don't need Lightroom or for Photoshop to click phone click pictures. I think Snapseed is good enough for that.
Okay. Great. Um, so you very important tip. Please specify a few apps for editing. I think we've answered that question. Mitali says thank you. Um, Shivani says very useful. Yeah, Udit also wants to add the fact that we could also use toys to distract them or kind of engage them to get
So yeah,
better pictures.
yeah, definitely. That's a very
So
good. That's a very good tip.
thank you for
Thanks for that.
that.
Thanks for pointing out.
Yeah, and I think squeaky toys could be like an alternative to if you don't want to make those funny noises yourself. So
Yeah,
if you don't want to
definitely.
be Rohit and practice your sounds, then maybe you could use the squeaky toys for that. Uh,
Exactly.
yes, we have more or less answered most of the questions. So yeah, should we get to picking the three pictures? And before that, I think I'd like to thank everyone for sending in their entries. We have a huge collection of pet pictures right now, and all of them are. I think Rohit's seen most of them. Is there anything in particular, Rohit, that you want to kind of point out about the pictures that you've received, or like tell them anything about all the pictures? I mean, all pet pictures, I believe, are beautiful, but
Yeah,
is there
yeah.
anything that you particularly want to add
I,
on to this?
I'm just happy that so many people took the effort of submitting their pictures, and
Right.
no picture was less than the other. All the pictures were
Right.
so beautiful, and it was so tough for me to kind of pick
Pick one.
pick the three
Three,
pictures.
actually.
Very
Yeah.
difficult, but
Right.
I have picked the pictures basis a couple of reasons which I'm going to point out as we see
Right.
those pictures, right?
Right.
Um, but all the pictures were superb, Kritika. They were lovely, right?
Yeah, I saw
Very
like a
beautiful.
couple of them myself, and I was like, wow, people actually made that effort to send in the pictures.
Seriously.
I'm just putting them as my phone wallpaper. People are actually making the effort to get them edited. So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I was also very, very impressed by the effort that people have put,
right.
and so many entries we got. That was so amazing, which made my job very
Yeah.
difficult.
So that's
Right?
okay. I think picking three out of so many was, I'm pretty sure, an ordeal for you.
Yeah. So shall we see those
Yes,
pictures?
yes,
Great.
let's do that.
Yeah. So that's the first picture.
Oh, look at him.
He was yeah,
Him or
like
her or him.
so the one on the left hand side is the before, and the on the right hand side is the after. Right?
Right.
Is that correct?
This one is the after, this one is the before. It's the mirror image that's confusing us, I believe.
Yeah. I never get hang of this. So
Never.
yeah,
I
so
have very,
yeah, so this I picked up this picture because I loved the expression of the dog here, right?
yeah, so
Such a
cute.
beautiful expression, such lovely eyes, right? And
Yeah,
then look at the background, right?
yeah.
You have wires around. I think it's taken on a terrace, right?
Hmm.
So you have wires around, and the dog is beautiful. So if you look at the after picture, and I have edited this picture on Snapseed, by the way,
Okay.
okay, the app. And if you notice, I have removed the wires, I have removed the ball.
Oh yeah, I just noticed the ball because I was constantly looking at the edited version. I just didn't see the ball. Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's very simple. Guys, give it a try. Snapseed app is very simple. It's very easy.
Right.
And if you, at any point of time, if you face any problem, you need any tip, just DM me. Just ping me. I'll be more than glad to help you. But I really like the dog's expression here. And that's why I picked up this picture. I've removed the wires. I've removed the ball. I have kind of
Right.
make now the focus is on the dog, right? You're
On
just
the
looking
ball.
at dog's face now directly.
Yeah. It's like a spotlight. You
Yes, like a
only see
spotlight.
the dog. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So that's the first picture I chose.
His
right?
name is Yoda.
Yoda.
He does look like
Yoda.
baby.
Right. So the next one which I chose, I really like this one. It is a beautiful uh, kind of chemistry and a beautiful smile on both the faces, right?
Right.
The girl as well as the dog. The dog is kind of looking outside at something, and the girl is looking into the camera and smiling, right? And I kind of tried to give it a, black and white touch, right,
Yes.
to make it less distracting. And now the focus is directly, on the smile and on the face, right?
Right.
Um, and again, I have edited this picture again on Snapseed. So
Right.
yeah. So this is
Apurva
a
says thank you to you for
Apurva.
picking. Her dog's name is Bianca.
Ah, so Apurva, you can after the session you can DM me, and I will send you this edited picture.
So such a nice picture. And in fact, the background thing that you mentioned, I think, is very evident here. When you see the first picture, the original one, I kind of tend to see like the background of it. But when there's a black and white version, I'm only looking at the two people in the
Yes.
picture.
Yes. So that's the rule that I follow. That when you have to kind of focus on the ongoing emotion in the picture between the
Right.
pet parent and the dog, I always go for a black and white picture,
Hmm. Nice.
right?
Congratulations, Apurva. You have a very
Congratulations, Apurva.
you can frame this now and keep it in your room.
Yeah. So the last one, the last picture, this dog is a beauty.
Ooh.
So I just love the way I didn't edit this picture much, by the way.
I see
Okay.
that.
But I selected this picture because of the one reason that it looked like that the pet parent took a lot of effort in clicking the picture and using a lot of tips that we used in the presentation today,
Right, right, right,
right? Focus on the eyes, the photo is
right,
sharp, the background is blurred, right?
right,
Good expressions, and it's a very loving picture.
right.
So
Very pretty.
very pretty. So congratulations, Devki.
They
You can DM me, and if you want this edited picture, I'll just send it to you.
amazing. I
Great.
hope
So
you guys, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to ask. And we'd, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And I think if you guys want to connect with Rohit, you can contact him on his Instagram page or probably just go on his website directly. It's called Stills by Rohit. Even his Instagram page is called Stills by Rohit. You can get in touch with him directly, take tips, or ask him to take pictures of your pet. Either way, are you traveling by any chance during this time, like, or do you travel for work in general?
I do travel for work in general, Kritika. Not this time, but it'll start soon. But right now,
It's
I'm kind of doing shoots only in Bangalore.
only in Bangalore, right? And like
Yeah.
everywhere in Bangalore, or like is there like a certain area that you're going to confine yourself
Sorry,
to?
come again?
Everywhere in Bangalore, or is there like a particular area that
No, no,
you're targeting? Everywhere.
wherever I can find some cute puppies.
That's cute. So maybe like soon you can start probably come to Delhi or Bombay
Yeah,
or anywhere
definitely.
based out of it.
Look for
Come
look look. Yeah, look forward to it. Look
give me
forward
a
to it.
great portrait of Brutus. So next time you come to Delhi, I'd get you to click a
Yeah,
picture of me, and we'd use one
definitely.
and
Or
post it.
or something even better. I will make you use these tips and make you click the pictures of
I,
Brutus.
I'm going to do that. My next picture is going to be like that. Either I'm going to learn
Awesome.
funny noises or maybe just randomly click pictures like that.
No, I really hope. See, I intentionally wanted to keep the tips very, very simple to understand and execute, right?
Uh,
So, guys, please, if you click any pictures of your adorable babies by using these tips, please do share those pictures with me. I would love to see them. And if at any point of time you want if you want any tips, anything, any discussion, I'm up. for it, you know where to reach out to me.
Yes. Stills by Rohit, guys, on Instagram and on his website. Feel free to get in touch with him. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. And thank you, Rohit, for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing these amazing tips. They were really handy, easy. In fact, I understood them so easily. I'm pretty sure everyone's understood them. There was nothing technical about it, and they were so easy. And so I think, like I said, we'd be using them. Like we anyway use them on a daily basis, and I think we'll have like a proper format to kind of follow and click create pictures without any
Okay.
problems.
Thanks a lot, Kritika. Thanks for having me over. I
Thank
just
you so much.
loved talking about it. I hope it was a useful session for everyone. And hopefully, in the coming days, we see some really cute pictures and some
Of course,
unblurry pictures.
yes. And I'm pretty sure they're going to share it with you. So, and reshare them.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you,
Thanks a
everyone, for
lot,
tuning
Kritika. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye bye.
in. Bye.